Fine. So in the last session, we have gone through these points. So we discussed about what the Fusion applications all about, and other point is on-premise and cloud. How these two are different. If client opt for cloud, what are the advantages that we discussed? Apart from that, what are the Fusion adaptations available? How those are different we discussed, and that is other point is we discussed about what is the Fusion architecture. We discussed within the middleware what are the different components we have. These are the points we discussed in the last session. Fine. So for today's session, this is the agenda we have, and other point is yesterday's session we didn't share with anyone. Today after this session, the two sessions will be sharing. Okay, maybe hardly after this session, it may takes 1 hour time for us to convert into the respective format to share with you all. Okay, after 1 hour we'll be sharing. Okay, today's session as well as previous session. Okay, fine. The today's session will be discussing about Fusion enterprise structure and Fusion roles. Say, or else instead of saying Fusion roles, you can say Fusion security and Fusion users. How users can be managed in the Fusion applications. Okay, we'll focus on these points and we'll have a detailed discussion. Any questions, you can stop me and you can ask me. We'll go in that way. The first point is Fusion enterprise structure. Just 1 second here. Okay, done. Okay. Oracle Fusion enterprise structure. Okay, before we get into this Fusion enterprise structure discussion, we'll talk about release 12 or say EBS. More to just we are focusing on release 12 since there is some simple change SATA books to ledger. Okay, we'll talk based on EBS release 12 version. So in EBS release 12, when you look into this concept, the same we call as multi-org structure right here. The EBS we call as multi-org structure. Okay, when you talk about multi-org structure, we know very well we have a business group. Under business group, we'll have a primary ledger and legal entity. Under that, legal entity. Under legal entity, we'll have a operating units, and finally, we'll have inventory organization. Okay, the same way you can see this as a hierarchy. It will be under BZ, primary ledger, under primary ledger, LE, under LE, OU, under OU inventory organization. This is a well-known concept for us since this multi-org we know from EBS. Okay, now the same multi-org concept in Fusion we are calling as enterprise structure. The term the term they changed. The term they changed and certain things also slightly they changed. We'll just get into that to understand more detail level. So the EBS multi-org structure in Fusion we have as a enterprise structure. Okay, when you talk about enterprise structure, in the total enterprise, the top level will have a enterprise. Okay, enterprise. We'll discuss detail level. Let me list out a few points to get started with the discussion. Okay, first we'll have enterprise. Under enterprise, we'll have a divisions. Under divisions, we can have a primary ledger. Under primary ledgers, we'll have a legal entities. Okay, let me take this again. Legal entity. Under legal entities, we'll have a business units. So a business unit. Under business unit, you'll have a inventory organization. We have some other concept also that I'll touch base when we are discussing these all points. Okay, inventory organization. This is what we can take. Okay, this is what we are calling as Fusion enterprise structure. I'm just going to remove this or else. Okay, let's go with some comparison. So first we'll have enterprise. Under enterprise we have a divisions concept. Under divisions primary ledger, under primary ledger legal entity, under legal entity business unit, under business unit inventory automation. Okay. So when you talk about EBS business group, we can have multiple business groups in single instance. It supports to create multiple business groups. Say if you are going to implement for multiple countries for any client, in that case for each country you may go with a separate business group. But when you talk about Fusion applications, for one instance, one enterprise we can have. Okay, for one instance we can have only one enterprise. So that means if client is going to have implementation for multiple countries, how that can be managed. So within the enterprise, with as a HR solution, we have one concept called as legislative data group. Okay, we have a legislative data group. A legislative data group. Simply we call as LDG. Through LDG, what we can do for each country for HR solutions and EBS, how we are creating the business group where we can have a separate groups for each and every country to segregate and maintain the employee information. So equal to that, equal to business group concept in Fusion, enterprise is not equal to business group. Okay, when you compare Fusion enterprise with EBS business group, it is not equal. So to compare business group concept in Fusion, we have to take the term called as legislative data group. For each country, we have to have separate legislative data groups. With that, you can segregate and maintain the employee information. But for in the Fusion environment, for one instance, you can have only one enterprise. Nothing but just you can give the group information, whatever the business or who is the client information. And enterprise level, you can specify some global defaults related information. Of course, down the line that can be we can override at legislative data group and other levels also. You can override as a default information you can set at enterprise level, which is related to HR and payroll, very specific to HR and payroll information. You can set it up, how employee number need to be generated, and all the information you can set it up. And however we set in EBS, when you are creating the business group, in the business group info will be setting up some default information as business group info. The same way that you can set up the similar information, you can set up enterprise level, but that we can override at respective levels. This would be the top most level in the entire instance. Okay, the simple point here I'm trying to say, we can have only one enterprise. If you have only one enterprise, how multiple countries employees information can be managed? For that we have a solution called as legislative data group. You can think within enterprise you can have a number of legislative data groups where legislative data group is equal to business group. So this is the point we have to understand. So now we are clear business group concept, how it is handled in Fusion application through legislative data group. But for entire group of the company, will be having the name as enterprise. That is only one we can have in one instance. And the second point is division. Okay, when you look at Fusion enterprise structure, we have a concept called as division. What is the division? We know very well, even when we are working on EBS also, we can have a divisions, but the flexibility that future supports, if you are going to have a divisions within your chart of accounts, right? With the chart of accounts, we can have one segment called as division segment. Through the division segment, you can just capture all the divisions. When you're recording the business transaction, you can track accordingly and you can go with the respective reporting. Okay, but in a Fusion app, that is possible in EBS also. But in Fusion, Oracle given the flexibility where you can have division as your within your enterprise structure. It's not like within the chart of accounts we can have division. Apart from that, you can include division within the enterprise structure also. I'm sorry. So fine. Why and what concept we can use the division when you talk about Fusion enterprise structure? Basically simple. I'll take the simple two example. If client is doing the business and if they are into different LOBs, different line of businesses or different vertical of businesses, in that case, each vertical of business client can take a separate division. Say automobiles, they can, if I take example, client is doing the business which is related to automobile. So automobiles they can take as one division, and other they can take consulting service as another division, and they may take some manufacturing or some services or contracting service. The different what are the different businesses client is doing, each business they can take as a separate division. That is the one best possibility we have. Apart from that, some geography area they can take as a separate division, APAC, Asia, okay, EMEA. These all, if client is running the business in the different geographies, those geographies they can take as a separate divisions. That's how the division concept will work in the Fusion environment. If any client is looking for such kind of solution at enterprise level instead of going at chart of account level. Okay, so when we go with the chart of account, that may be specific to a particular country, and if you are using a global chart of accounts, maybe for multiple countries. But if you use the division, you may run the business in the multiple countries. Your chart of account may not be same. Still, you have a division concept as a part of your enterprise that will support you to have it to track the reporting across the entities, whatever how you are running across the globe. So that is a great advantage we can take from this division concept, which is there as a part of enterprise itself. And the second point here is primary ledger. Yes, we know about this very well, which is a transactional entity to record the business transaction, any application. So that remains same as a EBS concept. Even they didn't change the name, etc. However, they changed it in 11A to R12. SATA books they changed to primary ledger, but there is no change for primary ledger name or some how the things how can be managed within the system. That remains same. So in EBS primary ledger, you can see as a primary ledger only Fusion environment also. But within the primary ledger, when you are creating the calendar chart of accounts, we can see some changes that we'll be discussing very detailed level once we get into the actual classes. I mean to say once we start with the system. The next concept is legal entity. Yes, the legal entity also remains same, which will be representing their company entities registrations. That also remains same as EBS concept. And in EBS, we have a concept called as operating units, where we can control or we can secure and segregate the business transaction, which will have a better reporting flexibility. Okay, the concept operating unit, OU, right? Here we are calling as OU as per EBS. In Fusion, the same OU we call as business unit. Simply we call as BU. OU became BU. Okay, and the functionality remains same, but how the OU related configuration will be done, that is slightly different when you compare with the EBS. The way how we do the setups related to BU in Fusion, you will be finding slight difference when you compare with EBS of operating unit. That we'll see. And here in EBS case, we'll create responsibilities. The operating unit we have to assign to responsibilities. In Fusion, you don't need to create responsibility. Everything can be managed with the roles. Apart from that, in EBS, we'll assign the OU to responsibilities, where within the OU responsibility will have a menus. But here the concept totally they changed. If you are going to have it 10 applications which are working at OU level, in that case we have to create 10 responsibilities. But Fusion environment is a simple task where you have to enable those particular application related features as a functions. We'll see more detail level once we get into that. But simple term now, simple point we have to understand now, operating unit is there in EBS Fusion as a business unit. That's all. And inventory organization, yes, here also inventory organization. Apart from this, so in between you can include one point here as a distribution centers. Okay, distribution centers. Okay, you can take distribution centers also as a part of enterprise structure. Okay, distribution centers, it's nothing but inventory organization. Which inventory organization is acting as a distribution center for the respective business process? That also you can create in the system, but that separate definition is required. The inventory organization only you can classify as a distribution center. That flexibility you can see in the Fusion environment. If some company is looking for, if they want to make the operation separate, which inventory is performing and which distribution center is performing, so that they'll be able to track with the concept called as distribution centers. But you no need to take with a more priority this distribution center, so you can ignore. Just as a point I'm adding, reason it's not going to be separate definition, it's just inventory organization you can classify as a distribution center, so that you'll be getting opportunity of tracking the transactions Okay, what are the transactions are happened through the respective distribution center, which is connected with inventory other side, which is helping to respective business units. That's how it works. So these are the simple points to understand about Fusion Enterprise structure. Okay, top level we have enterprise. It's only one we can have for one instance. We know in EBS also we'll get one default business scope, right? The name would be in the fresh environment. You can see setup. Okay, setup business group, right? In the same way, in the Fusion also will be having enterprise name as a setup enterprise only. If you look into the fresh environment, you can see that the naming convention we have to change here. In Fusion environment, what we have to do, whatever Oracle given as a default, just we have to change the naming convention, and you cannot create one more. But in EBS, Oracle will be providing one seeded predefined. If you want to update it, you can update it, or else we have a great flexibility of creating a number of business groups. Done. Divisions, we discussed the different vertical of businesses. You can have a separate division so that system will support for any kind of reporting requirements, and you can track information very detailed level under this division. What are the transaction flow we have, and the reporting as per reporting requirement you will be having. uh, just the you can take the advantage from the division as per a requirement. That anyway we don't have an EBS that can be managed within the chart of accounts only. Of course, in Fusion also you may have division as a part of chart of accounts. That total depends on your requirement. Primary ledger same as EBS, and legal entity same as EBS. And the business units, that's just they change the name from a name, operating unit name they change to business unit, and BU we call. There are a few points to discuss that. Once we get into the session, we'll discuss it. And the distribution centers, it's all about to support respective inventory related transactions. Okay, we can have it. And the other one is inventory organization. Okay, this is all about Fusion Enterprise structure. This is just, I am not I mean presenting with a some diagram and all. Hope everyone can understand this, since most other people has EBS expertise. Okay, I can hear some question. Somebody is asking some question. Any chance?
Hey, Lakshman, this is Satya. I have a question.
Satya, please.
Yes. So when you say enterprise would be one basically at a instance level.
Exactly.
One is given by Oracle.
Exactly. Instance level. One instance.
And at
one enterprise.
One enterprise.
Yep.
Okay. So typically for a client, any client, there would be one enterprise, correct?
Yes, exactly. Because one instance you don't use for more than one client. But within one instance, you can have multiple projects also. That always should be for the same client. It's all about giving group.
And the license.
Please.
Yeah, okay. So the license is itself is tracked at enterprise level, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we are dealing with this Fusion, mostly it's not license. We don't take license. Okay. Generally, it works with a subscription base, just subscription, because generally we are not going to have ownership on the instance. Oracle will generate, and it will be giving us there. Just you can edit the name, then you can start doing your configuration as a part of implementation. Then you start using. That's how it works. And
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The second question I have is about divisions. Okay.
Divisions.
You said that divisions enable reporting purposes, right? You
Correct.
can have your exactly product line divisions. If your company is more diversified, you have more divisions.
Correct.
Right. So for that, like, so since you are saying it's reporting level, so where the data is stored. So for example, in 12 we know that all the GL data is stored at a ledger level, right?
Yeah.
All the sub-ledger transactions are stored at operating level, operating unit level, correct?
Yeah.
Inventory in the way, inventory is all the items.
I got your point. Yeah, you can proceed if you have some further.
So okay, coming to Fusion, where the data is stored?
Same concept. When you talk about operating in business unit, so business unit level, we know business unit specific operating. Say, let's talk about. I'll come from this. So as per EBS, Okay, operating unit. We have operating unit specific modules, right? AP, AR, OM, PO, projects, costing, billing, applications. The same way in Fusion also, that remains same. When you say business unit level, there are business unit specific modules like APR, PO, OM, costing, billing, and many other applications we know, same. And when you talk about inventory, yes, inventory organization related information will get stored, inventory application. And when you say primary ledger, the mapping, you're talking about mapping, what level which modules can be handled, mapped, right? Same as EBS, same as EBS. When you say divisions, enterprise, so enterprise is just instance level. Within the enterprise, will be having legislative data groups, which will be handling the employee related information. When you talk about EBS, business group level will be mapping HRMS application. Through that, you can have all the HR information that will get stored in the HRMS application, employee information. The same way that you can take, so enterprise is HCM solution, human capital management. So the legislative data group is equal to business group. So whatever the information will be storing in the system, legislative data group, you have to understand that will get stored in HCM. Again, in HCM, we have a different applications, global HR and payroll. Okay, we have many other options management, etc. All this comes under this HCM only. The respective transactions will get stored in the respective application. And okay, I'll go through one by one. That is all about enterprise. And so HCM related application, this will be stored. What about division? When you say, like, see, we know enterprise means organization, so divisions also will comes under that enterprise only, where this division information also will get stored in the HCM only. But how, when we are recording the transaction, if you have a division concept in the system and if you implement, we are not going to select which the transactions belongs to which division. Okay, what happens is we'll be just creating all this in the system. Logically, we know system will have a some, I mean, hierarchy, right? It will create, it will maintain an hierarchy. That's how they build the product. So in EBS case, what we do is mostly all these things will be defining and will be mapping this respective to respectively with responsibilities by using the profile options concept. In Fusion also we have a profile option concept, but the use is drastically reduced. To do this entire enterprise definition, if you are going to create in the system, you no need to use one profile option. You no need to use single profile option. So you no need to assign your primary ledger to something, whatever you do in EBS. You no need to assign your operating units or something else to whatever you define. In EBS we do all those things, but in Fusion you no need to do that. You no need to use the profile options. If there is some special case and all, there only you will be using. For normal basic configurations, you no need to use any profile options. Okay, and see what happens is, if say you will be recording primarily business transactions in business unit level as per enterprise. When you are recording, you know, since it's a mapped, the business unit in the sense will be using some balance and segment values, where the balance and segment values are maintained within the primary ledger in your company or whatever the balance and segment. Again, those are tracked with your mapped with a legal entity, right? So legal entity. Again, these legal entities are mapped with the divisions, and divisions are there under enterprise. That's how, when you have a transaction with one BU, what system will do? So immediately it will identify this transaction falls into, it belongs to which BU. Again, this BU related transaction is falling under which balance and segment value. Definitely we have to map with each and every BU balance and segment value. Again, that balance segment value is mapped with which legal entity. The legal entity is under which divisions. That's how system logically it will understand, it will support for reporting. That's how it works.
So Lakshman, quick question here is, you know, in 12 we have one operating unit can be associated to multiple legal entities, correct?
Yeah, that is the see. Normal cases we don't see. If require, yes, that can be done. In that case, we have to go with the multiple balance and segment values, which will be managed with the one BU, where you may use just offset account, or you may go with some custom logic, etc. But yes, that is possible in carry on. That's possible.
So I mean, the implementations I see is like we have one default legal entity, which is when you define a legal like operating unit, that legal entity would be defaulted.
Yeah.
In this case, what I understand is the structure is you have an enterprise at the top level, right?
Correct.
Then you have divisions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And under the divisions,
Yeah,
you
same.
will have
Same,
what
same.
is your
Yeah.
legal entity.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Here, whatever we see, we have in the same way. If you can ask a straight question, this is fixed,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay. So, legal entity without division, can it happen?
Yes, 100%. I am going to just come to that one. I think people are trying to start join. See, for this meeting, we have a limit of 26 members only. I think somebody is trying still to join. 1 second, please. 1 second. Give me 1 second. If there are offline participants, let me remove from the list. Because we got the limit of 26 members only for the meeting, so few people are trying to join. So it's giving message. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, Satya, please.
So, like division has to be mapped, legal entity has to be mapped to a division. Is it mandatory?
Yeah, definitely. The mapping
can
should be there. Otherwise, so whatever the transaction we are doing, those transactions will anyway it will get connected with the legal entity. If you are not doing that kind of mapping, so it won't work. You cannot track each transaction falls under what. That is a mandatory. And one more point is it is a mandatory when you want to get division based reporting. Out of these enterprise, this is optional. Division is optional as well as distribution center is optional.
Okay.
I kept this point to discuss after discussing whatever we discussed. Okay, so finally, just this is what now most of the clients when you see what are yeah please.
Sorry, hope I'm not cutting you.
Yeah.
The second thing, question is, in 12 we assign the legal entities to ledger.
Everything,
okay?
Satya, one point, Satya, everything is there here also. Everything is there. One see, because these points, when we are defining, you may post more questions. Reason we are standing only at this point. Many other participants are there. I hope you can understand, right? We'll discuss definitely.
Yes, I understand.
Because
so
whatever the questions,
so one last thing.
Yeah,
can you give a graphical like hierarchy?
Yeah, sure.
Or some chart. It makes sense.
Yeah, I kept. For previous batch I shown, but I thought for this batch it may not be required. So that is the reason I didn't take into this. 1 second. Not for this. 1 second. Because the same, because what I thought is anyway, it's the most of the people know this, and with the text they can understand. This is a graphical representation if you want to see. So enterprise means it's a group company. Within the division, you can have division can be you can have a segregation based on some geographical areas, or else these are the different vertical of businesses. Okay, and this is the primary ledger as we discussed, and legal entities. And under legal entities, you can have a business unit. The shared service units also will be discussing once it's where data can be shared and operations can be done across. And distribution centers where it's all about distribution channel where will be just distributing the material to the customers. And item master inventory, or say inventory organization, they represented item master and orgs. But item master, we know that is a concept of system only where it supports for item definition, but reality is just will map the business into system as inventory organization. So this is what we are looking for. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think, there is something, I think a ground rule need to be set here because, the R12 knowledge is not absolutely necessary to get into the Fusion. And if you were to compare R12 with Fusion at every instance, I think this class will not move forward. I think we've got to complete go forward with what you have.
No. Once again,
and then we can save this for the end, because otherwise it's going to take away everyone's common time, and that is not right, I feel,
Yeah, Anil. I think Anil speaking, right?
Right, that's me.
Yeah, Anil. See, these sessions are going to be for the EBS experts. We should touch base on that. Or else, let me ask you one question. Are you EBS consultant?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. If you are yes, then how will be understanding further points? Whatever I'm going to discuss, if I don't compare with EBS, straight away it will be just something new. few points. If you understand, see, tomorrow also just we should be in the position to talk about it. But one point here, wherever that kind of comparison is required, there only will be touching. Once you get into the course and all,
Correct,
there won't
yeah.
be too much. There won't be too much. But
Correct,
initial
correct. That is
classes,
fine.
definitely everybody will be having many questions. That will be cleared in maybe
Right.
max 4-5 classes. The rest everything will
Okay.
be just thinking whatever I'm going to talk.
Super, that's fine.
I
Yeah.
agree with
Thank you.
you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Fine. Just this is yeah. Satya, please.
Lakshman, this is Maruti. I just want to, because like, as Anil said, like there should be some kind of like a time limit on certain things.
Definitely.
And you cannot just go on for certain things, and you cannot, like, most of the time I understand, like, you can compare with EBS,
Yeah.
but business units you cannot compare, because business units are something like, there are certain things that you need to understand from the basic certain things,
Yeah.
and we could easily lose the track of it.
Yes,
Because some of the stuff we try to compare, we could easily lose the track of it.
Correct. Yeah, noted, Maruti will do that. Fine. Okay. See, just only the idea is I am trying to just give you the better understanding. That's it. Okay. There may be, see, in this session, there may be well experts. Yes. But other side, I have to look at the people who has very less experience, who are already working on EBS, even just they are there. So I want to consider everyone. Definitely, I'll be taking each and every point into consideration. Okay. If any issue in between, you can stop me, or you can guide me, or you can just make me to go in the right way. No issues, but I'll take care of it. If required, you can. I request you to just give me hint. Thanks. Because I want to consider everyone for sure. Okay, done. Okay, this is a graphical representation as somebody wants to see. Okay, done. Yep. Thanks. Now let's get into the actual discussion, what we are doing here. Okay, so this is all about enterprise structure, whatever just now we discussed. And any other questions on this, just post me, we can discuss maybe within 1 or 2 minutes. Any other questions from other participants? And the final point is divisions and distribution centers are not mandatory. And to understand more about it, so we'll be mapping one with other enterprise unit and all those. We'll see in the system the same, almost same logic we have. And here the logic wise is simplified in the better way. That also will be understanding when you start working with the system. Right. I don't see any questions and all. If you are in the environment where you have a lot of background noise and all, you cannot speak and all, in that case I request you to post your questions in the chat window. You can type in the chat window, I can read and I can answer. Okay, fine. Satya, that already we discussed. And Ronald, so request it will better if you can share the structure like diagram. Yes, there are the same postings from others also. Great. And allow how differences leaves understanding auto knowledge and not necessary. Yes. So we have keep questions in the end. Okay, somebody is saying we'll keep the questions in the end. Yes, definitely I'll be inviting many questions in the end of the session, but yes, few questions definitely I should agree, because that may stop the understanding, that may get some dependency to understand the further points which we are discussing. Yes, definitely we are considering everything. We'll keep the questions end of the session. And other thing is you can ask instance questions also, which may help for your better understanding. Okay, great. Fine. Okay, if no questions, I'll just get into the next point. Done. So now the next concept here is fusion roles. Okay, just I kept the term as a roles, since everything here will be focusing on the roles. Basically you can take here for understanding fusion security, or say fusion security. Okay, fusion security. The fusion security will be working based on the roles. It's a role-based security. The simple term what generally we use is role-based access control. In fusion, what are the security you are using? role-based access control. For the EBS experts, this is not new term. Okay, RBAC we call. We know, like, we have a user management application in R12 also. There we can, okay, we can grant the privileges based on the role which we assign, but that is limited to very specific function. Mostly that is for web applications. Now Oracle, now the complete product is available in with a web user interface. That is the reason everything they convert into role-based access control. Let's talk about more on this for better understanding. So the Fusion security basically works with the roles. So concept-wise we call as RBAC, role-based access control. Okay, before we get into this concept, I should talk about EBS. Here it's a mandatory. I should talk about it. I'm taking EBS R12. We know very well in EBS how things can be handled. Let me take here instead of taking here. I'll go with the R12 terms here. R12 EBS. So here we know, like, when you are working on R12, so we'll have a menus concept, right? Menus. Within the menu we'll have a submenu. Within the submenu we'll have functions. Good. So we'll have a menu. Within the menu we'll have a submenu, and within the submenus we'll have a functions, right? So if you want to give access to anyone, it may be for specific menu or submenu or functions, what we do? Anyone can just answer to this question. It's a very just a basic thing. Okay, anyone. I want to hear from someone. That's all. So if I want to give access to menu or submenu, don't think I'll be asking this kind of basic questions, but just since this is a concept, I want to focus on this more. Okay, see, if I want to give access to menu or submenu or functions, how we can do in EBS? Any answer?
We will create the responsibilities.
Yes. Okay, I'll create. Please, you can stay on the line. We'll create the responsibility. Okay, I created responsibility. Can I give access to any user?
After creating the responsibility has to assign to the user.
Okay, I assign the responsibility to user. User can use it?
Proper profile options has to be set in the responsibility level.
Exactly, done. That's all. That is the point. So we have to create responsibility. Okay, thank you. Okay, responsibility, how to create. After creating responsibility, also directly you cannot use particular application related menu or submenu or function. We have to assign profile option. Through profile option, primarily when you talk about finance, we'll assign primary ledger or operating unit. For depending on application, definitely primary ledger and operating unit. If you talk about OU specific, you have to assign primary ledger and OU. If you talk about only GL, you can assign only primary ledger. That means we are creating responsibility. We are assigning the primary ledger and OU or primary ledger to responsibility. Then only you can use it. Why we are creating responsibility here? The concept is why we are creating responsibility. The reason why we are creating responsibility is without responsibility concept, you cannot have access to this. With the responsibility concept, logically you can just take these points into responsibility. You can connect these to responsibility so that user can connect to responsibility through that responsibility. Whatever the data he has access, data in the sense primary ledger and operating unit, through that they'll be able to work on these functions. Okay. So that is the reason we are creating. To connect to menu or submenu or functions only we are using responsibility, because without responsibility concept, you cannot assign primary ledger or operating unit to any one of these components. So to establish the connectivity between the menu, submenu or functions and primary ledger and operating unit, we should use responsibility. Now in the Fusion, to connect these similar concepts with this kind of primary ledger or operating unit, responsibility is not required in the Fusion. They made it very simple. Let's talk about it. Okay, done. So here I'll talk about Fusion. So in EBS case, we have menus, submenus, functions, responsibilities, primary ledger. The Fusion equal to menu. In Fusion, we have job roles. Okay, job roles. What we can have within the menu? Submenus, functions. Again, menu will be specific to particular application, right? In the same way, in Fusion, equal to menu will have a job roles. And in EBS, we have submenu. Equal to submenus in Fusion, we have duty roles. And here we have a functions. Here also we'll have a functions, or you can call as here privileges. That is not a big point to compare and discuss. Here we'll have a functions, and within the submenu we'll have a functions, and Fusion also will have a functions and all. Functions or privileges you can call. Here we have a responsibility. Here we don't have no responsibility. And here what we are doing, we are assigning the primary ledger or operating unit to business units. Okay, here I'll take in this way for our better understanding. We'll have a responsibility. Finally, we have to assign responsibility, primary ledger and our operating units to responsibility. This is how it works in the R12, right? So that means there is a point to understand to responsibility. We have to assign primary ledger wherever it's required, primary ledger and operating, depending on which application responsibility. So we don't have responsibility concept in Fusion, but equal to this concept is not there, means where primary ledger and operating will get connected with this menu or submenus related to particular application, how it works. Equal to this means combination of responsibility and primary ledger or operating unit. Here, otherwise, instead of taking responsibility, I'll take the combination of menu or submenus and do primary ledger and operating. Here we have concept called as data role. I request you all to mute. Somebody is unmuted. I can hear a lot of noise. Venkat, please. Thanks. Okay, here we have a concept called as data role. Okay, data role is equal to, in the data role what happens is it's equal to job role plus primary ledger or BU. In Fusion we operating it we call as BU, right? So this is the point. Okay, this is equal to responsibility where primary ledger and operating unit is assigned. Now in EBS what we'll do, this responsibility will be assigning to user. In the same way in Fusion, this data roles will assign to user. I'll take one simple example. Job role is, one of the job role is payables manager. If I take job role, menu in EBS for payables is AP Navigate GUI. Equal to AP Navigate GUI, in Fusion we have a payables manager. Now if I have a primary ledger, simply I'll be taking it, I'll take the one job role. Here as I mentioned here, job role plus primary ledger. I'll take the job role called as payables manager. I'll be connecting primary ledger, only in case of payables manager, definitely primary ledger and BU. I'll be connecting this combination. Payables manager is one of the job role in Fusion, and I'll be just mapping, assigning primary ledger and business unit. This combination we call as data role. That means this payables manager can have access to the specific BU data. When you access to that payables manager role, you'll be able to work for specific BU. That means data. This is the role is payables manager. This payables manager role can have access to which data. Okay, which it can primary ledger also can call it as specific data. So BU. Since we are talking about payables, I'm focusing on BU only. That's the meaning of data role. Okay. So now what we have to do, this combination we have to assign to user. In EBS, we'll be assigning the primary operating units or primary ledger to particular responsibility. In Fusion, you don't need to do that. So data roles are created by system automatically based on the configuration which you do. That will be discussing more detail level. Now the simple point is, in the Fusion we have a job roles, duty roles and data roles. And just I'll finalize this discussion. So we have basically 4 type of roles in Fusion. Everything works based on roles only in Fusion applications. 4 type of roles we have. Those 4 type of roles are the same. I'm going to list out: job roles, duty roles, data roles, abstract roles. Okay, they are the 4 type of roles we have. Job roles are equal to EBS menus, duty roles are equal to EBS submenus, data roles are equal to the combination of responsibility and primary ledger and operating unit when you compare with EBS. And abstract roles, it's a simple employee role we call as abstract role. We no need to do anything with this. That's how the application logic purpose they created abstract roles. You don't need to go and work on abstract role. Primary will be working on job role, duty role and data role. For these roles only based on application, in the different application, the same roles will be calling with the different names also. That will be discussing very detailed level in further classes. So this is a point to understand. This is equal to menu, duty role is equal to submenu EBS comparison. Data role is equal to responsibility and primary ledger and operating rate. Abstract. So, and out of these, job roles are Oracle delivered, means Oracle is providing as a seeded, predefined, and the duty roles also you can get from Oracle, which are predefined, which will be part of the submenu and available to, yeah, that will discuss. Data roles, here we have two options. Generally, system will create, if required, as per our requirement, you can create the custom data roles also. Abstract roles are delivered by Oracle only. Okay. So these are the points to understand, and I have a few questions here. So let me go through it. I'm not able to hear anything from beginning onwards. Ramesh. Yes, he is able to see the screen. Now, even if I say you cannot hear that, let me type some text saying that please reconnect. Hi Ramesh, please reconnect. Hope you can see this test and you can take that action. Okay, and fine. Satya, HR user type is equal to HR employee abstract role. HR user type is profile option. I'm not comparing that. Here it's not profile option related. We'll discuss about it. Not equal. To give the answer for your question, HR user type is not equal to employee abstract role. No. It's a different. We'll discuss. System profile. Yep. No. Okay. No. Okay. So these are the points here. Okay. So we can create our custom roles. However, we can create the custom menus in EBS in the same way. Custom roles we can create in Fusion environment. And when I talk about data roles are created by system. So you no need to go and assign your primary ledger or business unit to particular menu, particular job or duty role. Job role or duty role that can be created with system. If at all you have a specific requirement as per your business process requirement, accordingly you can create. Anyway, that section also we are going to cover in our classes. Now, any questions on this topic you can post and we can discuss, because it's a very important thing to start with our application learning. Any questions on this? At least there should be a few questions minimum. Any questions? Hope everyone can hear me. Okay. No questions?
Lakshman.
Yeah.
So typically you would create, sorry.
Any question, please? Yeah, please. I'm there.
Yeah. So typically in an organization we create multiple responsibilities in 12. Right?
Yes.
Similarly, what you're saying is you will create different types of data roles by creating different job roles and assigning the primary ledger and the
simple. Yeah, let's make it simple as per our requirement. However, we create different responsibility in EBS, in the same way we'll create different data roles. Simple. To create different data roles, you may create on top of job role or duty role directly. For say payables, complete payables, you require access. On job role, you'll create the data role. Otherwise, on specific duty role, you'll create the data role. That's all. In EBS, you can create multiple different responsibilities. In Fusion, you have to create different data roles as per your requirement. That's all. Got it. Okay, great. Fine. See, questions are always welcome because I love to hear the questions. And if somebody wants to understand some clarification required, just you can post me as many questions as you want to post. But I know I believe that they will be asking good questions. So far, I can see very good questions. Okay, any questions, please, or else we'll jump into the next concept.
So, what are the mandatory? Like in 12, you have 3 profile options.
No, come on. Yeah, I got your point. So, no profile option required to set up enterprise structure. No profile option is required. So without setting up single profile options, we can complete entire configuration. We can do the transaction process also. Rarely we use different, depending on some feature or function or controlling purpose. Rarely we may use an EBS also. The same here also you can use, but generally we don't use profile options. Not required. That's how they just build this product and how it works. Okay, we'll see that. But to answer your question, no mandatory profile option to implement your finance. Done. Okay, let me just move on to this another concept. Fusion users. Okay, I have some question from someone. Got it, OMC. How do we customize duty roles and deploy them in? Yes, OMC, definitely that we have to wait for some time to see that. How means, yes, there is some process. That process definitely will be covering. I include in our course content. You just, of course, yeah, we'll see that in classes. The custom roles and all I'll be covering as a part of payables. If you cover for payables, same is applicable for other applications also. As a part of payables, I'll be covering that. Done. Now we discussed about Fusion roles, and now we'll talk about Fusion users. Okay, but there are a few points to understand. That is the reason I taken this as a separate concept. So simple, but we have to understand by comparing with the EBS here. Okay, we know here in R12 what we'll do, we'll create the user. So in EBS, where we can create the users by using the system administrator responsibility. Fusion, where you can create the users. You can create the users from two places. One is IDM, Oracle Identity Manager. Other one is HCM, Human Capital Management. Okay, here what is the process? Here we'll create the user and will assign responsibility to user and will assign employee to user. See, these may be basic, very basic for a few guys who are attending. They may think, but please wait for some time. You'll be understanding why I'm explaining. There are small changes which we should understand. Okay. So here in EBS will create the the responsibility. We'll be using to create the user in R12. We'll just use the system administrator responsibility. In Fusion we have two options. One is IDM, means Oracle Identity Manager. Already we discussed this term in first demo session. The same IDM can be called as OM, Oracle Identity Manager. And other application is HCM. You can create the users from IDM or HCM. But in R12 you can create the user from system administrator. Here we'll create the user. Here also we'll create the user. Here we'll be assigning to the responsible user. Here what will be assigning? See here. Here also we'll create the user. Same, just I'm comparing. Here we'll create the user. Here also we'll create. It can be created from IDM or HCM. We'll talk about if you create from HCM, what is the advantage. If you don't create from HCM, what are the disadvantages. Those points also we'll be discussing. R12 from here we'll create. In Fusion from here we'll create. Here in R12 what we are doing, we'll assign the responsibility to user. But here we'll be assigning the roles to user. Okay, it can be any role that you have to wait for some time to understand very detailed level. Generally we'll assign the data roles. Sometimes we'll assign directly the job roles also. There is some reason. We'll understand by next session, or I may cover in the current session also. Let's see that. Please wait for some time. You can understand. That is the reason I'm not specifying which roles, whether job roles or duty roles or abstract roles or which roles. I'm not specifying. Simply I'm giving the term as roles will be assigning. But if you want to see detail level, simply you can take the data roles. Along with the data roles, we can assign another roles also that we'll discuss very detailed level. But for now, for your better understanding, you may take as we'll assign data roles since we are comparing with R12. Okay, we'll assign the data roles to user. Here what we'll do, we'll assign the employee to user. Here it's not possible. Manually we cannot do it. Not applicable. Okay, how these things will work, we'll see. Okay. Here employee will assign to user. Here we don't have any option to assign the employee to user in Fusion environment. That can be handled through what user we are creating. Okay, so this is simple points, and now we'll see what are the type of users we have in Fusion environment. When you're working, you'll come across basically two type of users. Okay, you'll see two type of users in Fusion applications. Okay, generally, sorry, R12 will see just only user which can be created from system administrator. You may use for any purposes. There you cannot classify type of users. Based on behavior, I am classifying the users are two types in the Fusion application, how things works from where those can be created. The first one is implementation user. Okay, implementation user. The second user type is employee user. Okay, we have two type of users, implementation user and employee user. When you talk about implementation user, we'll go one by one. When you talk about implementation users will create from IDM generally. When you start with implementation, say IDM or OEM. Okay, when you start with the implementation, you have to start your implementation with a implementation user only. That user can be created from IDM or call it as OEM. Okay, IDM stands for, already we discussed, identity manager. So say it's application or tool, middleware tool. Okay, this is a part of middleware as we discussed in the last session. Okay, anyway, I'll be sharing the people who are attending this session as a first session. Of course, this is second in sequence, but few guys are attending directly this session. For them, I'll be sharing the recorded video, and then you can go through it, and these will be more meaningful for you, I guess. So an EBS system administrator in Fusion to create the implementation user, identity manager, and employee user can be created from HCM. Okay, implementation user you can create from IDM, employee user you can create from HCM. HCM means human capital management. In Fusion we are calling as HCM, of course a generic term, but in Fusion EBS we are calling as HRMS. Of course within that HCM we have a multiple applications which provides HCM human relationship, human HCM solutions, HRMS solutions. Okay, human capital management. Okay, just in the initial 2-3 sessions you'll come to know that what is the new terminologies and all. Then later again and again I am not going to explain HCM means human capital management, IDM means identity manager and all. That will be more familiar for us. Then we can run through the actual flow of course. So we can create. Okay, now it can be, so let's talk about the implementation user. So in EBS, if you want to start with implementation, what you do? You'll have access to sysadmin. Okay, sysadmin user access you should have, right? Okay, so you should have, in the fresh environment you need to get access to sysadmin user, then you can have access to instance. In the same way, let me write, I written here R12 here, so I'll take this side. So in R12, if you want to start with implementation, you need access to sysadmin user. With that you can start. But in Fusion we have a user called as FA admin. Okay, in Fusion R12 sysadmin user will start with implementation, but this is a Oracle delivered user. In the same way in the Fusion environment, Oracle delivered or say seeded username is FA admin. FA stands for Fusion Applications Admin. Okay, this is the user you will be using. Okay, done. Once you log in with the sysadmin in R12, what you can do, you can see the set of responsibilities. Primarily we look for sysadmin responsibility, right? Sysadmin system administrator responsibility. Okay, we log into the system as sysadmin user, will access to system administrator responsibility. Then you can start creating all the responsibility whatever you require, and you can start with your multi-or configuration. You can assign the profile options and everything we can do if you have access to system administrator responsibility. But in Fusion we don't have any concept called as system administrator responsibility. Equal to responsibilities we have roles. Okay, now what we have to do is, if you want to access, if you want to do the implementation, if you want to do the configuration in the system, the user should have access to these roles. What roles? The roles are application implementation consultant, this role, and IT security manager. Okay, for any user, okay, for any user, like you have a FA admin. Okay, you have a FA admin. FA admin by default will have access to application implementation consultant. But let's take simple point. When you are creating implementation user, for implementation user you have to give the access to these two roles. But in EBS case, if you are going to work as implementation consultant, you need access to system administrator. Equal to that, in Fusion applications, the implementation consultant, who is going to just where we are going to create a system as an implementation user. The implementation user require access to this application implementation consultant IT security manager. Anyway, Oracle will be delivering FA admin, but our understanding in our course, what we are going to do is, we are going to create our own user. To that user will be assigning these two roles. These two roles require to have a complete access to the system environment to work as implementation consultant. These two roles are enough. These two roles will allow you to do just setups. Okay, these two roles will allow you to do some setups and all. So this is a point we have to understand. If you are going to create new user in Fusion application environment, what we have to do as a mandatory, these two roles we have to assign. Okay, this is the point. If any questions on this, please. Any questions? Implementation user and roles. Okay. No questions? Okay. Fine, great. Everybody is getting the point then. Fine. So that's all about it. When you talk about second type of user, and one more point here. So say for example, I'll create the implementation user called as Lakshman. I'll create one user called as Lakshman, where I'll be creating the implementation user. You will be creating from IDM. From IDM, okay, from IDM application, I'll create the user. Yep. There is one question. There is one question from Murali. The question is, what is non-employee user? Implementation user is non-employee user. You'll come to know now. Just maybe it takes 2 minutes time to get that point, to reach that point to you. Okay, I'll be talking about. But to answer your question, non-employee user is nothing but implementation user only. Implementation user only. How it is, that will be understanding now. Okay. So I'm going to create the user from IDM. A username is Lakshman. So to that user, I'll be assigning these two roles. This implementation user, or say implementation consultant with this username, can start working on the application. Now, if I want to, in EBS, what we'll do, we'll assign the employee to user, right? You cannot assign employee to implementation user. You cannot assign employee to implementation user where the user is created from IDM. Okay. If you want, and if you create the user from, okay, HCM, say I'll create a user called as HCM. I'm creating a user called as Ram. If I want to allow any user to work on the system, what we have to do, for configuration, I have to assign these two roles. Say I assign these two roles to Lakshman, I assign these two roles to Mr. Ram also. Assign these two roles to two users. One user created from IDM, other user created from HCM. But out of these two users, I can assign employee to only HCM user, nothing but here Ram. Okay, assign employee. Employee we can assign to HCM user only. Employee we cannot assign to IDM user. But when you are doing the implementation, we have to start with IDM user only. From IDM only you have to create the user. From IDM generally whatever the user you create, that we call as implementation user. And HCM, whatever the user you create, that we call as employee user. So IDM user you can call as non-employee user. For HCM user only you can assign the employee. For IDM, here as per example to Lakshman, we cannot map any employee. Okay. So when we are doing the, generally why we have to go with IDM user? Why we should not start with HCM user when we start with implementation? In EBS, when you are creating the user, what happens? Just we'll give the username and we'll set the password. User will be ready. In the same way, almost similar to that, in IDM also you can create the user in that same way. We'll give the username and it's a mandatory you have to give the email ID, and they'll set the username and do password. Then user will be ready in IDM. But if you want to create the user from HCM, along with the username, if you will be giving the username, you have to be ready with your business unit and legal entity. Without legal entity, you cannot create user from HCM. So when you are starting with implementation, how come we can have our own legal entities and business units in the system, fresh environment? It's not possible, right? That we have to set up, then only those will be ready. For that reason, always we have to start working on the instance as a implementation user. Once the primary ledger and legal entity and BUs are ready, then we can switch to HCM user and we'll be start working on that. Okay, if I assign these two roles, Lakshman can work as implementation user, and if I assign these two roles to Ram can start working on implementation consultant, but Ram is created with a user type called as employee user. Okay, it's these are the two ways you can create from two different places. Okay, who will become actual implementation user? The implementation user whom we are creating from IDM can be act as implementation consultant when you assign these two roles, and the user employee user also can act as a implementation user if you assign these two roles to this user. And system point of view, what are the simple limitation we have to understand? See, if you are working as implementation user, you will be allowed to do all the configuration in the system as a consultant, but only the limitation is being a IDM user or implementation user. Let me go with this name. Being a IDM user, okay, you cannot create the supplier sites. You cannot create the supplier site except supplier site. I am talking about only finance. When you just talk about procurement, there are some other points we have to understand. Okay, if you create user from IDM user cannot create the supplier sites. Except supplier sites, everything is allowed by IDM user. IDM user can do all the system configuration. They can have all the transaction related activities within the system with a given respective roles. But IDM user cannot perform the user creation, supplier site creation. Supplier can be created, site cannot be created. When you talk about HCM user, if you assign these two roles to HCM user can work as a implementation user, but HCM user can have access to supplier creation. That means there are no limitations. There are no restrictions from user which you create from HCM. IDM user cannot create the supplier site. HCM user, along with all the setups, HCM user can create supplier sites also. Only this is a simple point we have to understand from finance point of view. I have a few questions from here. Venkat, can we convert IDM user to HCM user? It's a good question. We cannot convert. Okay, once you create IDM user, that IDM user you cannot create. What happens in the system is you will be creating user from HCM, but automatically the user will be synchronized with IDM. That user will be available in IDM. There we have to assign the roles and all. Again, these are a few more points we have to understand. That's better we can understand when we are working on the system. Okay, Venkat, to your question, the answer is no, we cannot convert IDM user to HCM or HCM user to IDM. The switching not possible. Okay, fine. Just see the business users, when business users are going to work on the system, always we have to create that users as a HCM users only. I mean to say employee users. IDM users generally will be using for implementation purpose, that to certain stage. Once we have to start creating the supplier sites and all, even implementation consultant also for in the configuration environment need to be created as a employee user. That's all. Any other questions on this point? Fine. So yes, it's HZ parties we have. Okay, the TCA model remain in Fusion applications also, but we are not going to play anything with that. That logic concept where in R12 they made suppliers and bank branches also parties, and compared to 11i. In the same way in the Fusion, the same remain. There are no additional parties you can see in the Fusion environment, who are the parties of like what I can say, like HZ information are the same. It remain share. I mean trading community TCA. The TCA concept remains same in GPS. IDM can create HZ parties. No. You cannot create. It's just a user. You cannot map with anything. Just you can create a user in IDM. That's what. Any other questions on this? there any specific logic why IDM user cannot create supplier site? Okay, the reason is HCM is nowhere we can relate with employee. Generally, ideally, in the companies, the people who are working for the company, whom we treat as employees, they have to get the privilege to create the approvals. Suppliers or supplier sites. In Fusion, you can see like for supplier creation also there are approvals. So always approvals will work based on the, approval should work based on the whatever the privileges we are setting for the employee. If you have IDM user is not mapped with employee. If you are setting some approvals for the particular employees who are working to create the suppliers and sites, it won't sync with that expectation, right? That's the reason Oracle made in this way. Satya, did I answer? Satya, who is asking this question? Yeah, Ajaya Das. Das, did I answer your question? I don't see anything from you. Yeah, great. Thank you. So that is a point here. And today I have one small request. Please don't mind. See, here many people are trying to join this session. Unfortunately, this GoToMeeting allows only 26 attendees. We exceeded. Many people are trying to give an attempt. Many people are trying to join the sessions. If you are going to continue for these classes, you can join from tomorrow. Otherwise, just to attend the demo classes, please don't mind, you can ignore from tomorrow classes. If you want to just attend 2-3 demo classes, we'll allow, but in current situation, we have many other participants who are interested. So now I can see around 6-7 members are there who wants to attend today's session, but since the limit is exceeded, they are not able to join. I request you the guys who are not going to continue not to join from tomorrow. Please don't mind. Okay, that is a simple big request I have. Fine, apart from that, any questions? Any questions on this point? Yeah, no, I'm not asking who is going to continue. Yeah, Ronald, fine. I'm not, just it's a humble request, that's all. I'm not asking who is going to join. Just I'm giving some note as a request. No problem. That will be discussing later. That will be discussing over the phone. No problem. Fine. Any other questions on these points? Okay, I think this is what I planned for today. So tomorrow session just directly will jump into the instance. Okay, not instance. I think there is one more concept which you have to understand. So to somebody. Maruti. Yeah, Maruti, tell me.
Yeah, I just want to understand, like, are you sending daily a new like invite, or like how to coordinate this one again?
Got it. Yeah. What we'll do is, so we'll be sending instant URL. Otherwise, our bad experience is if you share in very advanced, that is going to different people who are not paid and attending. Those people also connecting to the classes sometimes. That's what we observed. So we'll be sending the instant link. We'll make sure that you'll be receiving 10 minutes before. Even if you have from your side some network issues or something else, you can sort it out. You can get ready. From tomorrow, we'll be sending this meeting link before 10 minutes. Mean to say 6:50. You'll be receiving sharp 6:50. We'll do in that way. Venkat, yes.
And
yeah, please.
Yeah, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And because I had bad experience coordinating your guys. Abhinav or somebody, and like it's because like I just want to make sure that like.
Yeah, tell me what is your experience, and also I can sort it out.
Yeah, sure. Because like I tried multiple times like calling, and then I haven't got the link, and then again.
No. When did you get link? May I know that?
Yeah, today I got it around like 5:45.
I sent meeting link I should share because they won't be having any idea about it. I just told them you coordinate with the people, the link and session I'll be taking care of that. That's what I said. Anyway, now we are going to finalize it. You'll be receiving every day 7:50. And one more point I want to mention here, for sure we'll be sending before 10 minutes. If you are not receiving before 10 minutes, I request you to please wait. If there is no session, definitely we'll be giving the prior notice. We'll be informing 1 day before, or else at least few hours before. If in worst case, we'll be informing. Say a simple point: you are waiting and you didn't receive the session. It's a sharp 7, but you don't need to worry about it. You may receive within 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, sometimes it may be, so there could be some delay from my side also. Okay, so that is the reason I request you everyone, just if no session, definitely will be informing. If not informed means definitely will be having session from Monday to Friday. If you don't receive 5 minutes or 10 minutes before, no need to worry about, definitely will be getting. Sometimes 1 or 2 minutes there may be some delay in sending the meeting link, but we'll make sure that 10 minutes before will be received for sure. So because when this is the point, if we follow generally there won't be any issues. So otherwise people will keep calling and no meeting link, just for because of 5 to 10 max 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so let's avoid that kind of issues and all. I'll be sending 10 minutes before. Okay, short before, or else if bit late, at least before 7 I'll be sending. Sometimes throughout our classes, okay, throughout our 30 sessions, you may come across 1 or 2 times you may not get sharp 7. In that case, my request is please wait for 2 to 3 minutes, but for sure you'll be getting. Okay, that's how it works. Let's work on that base, so that there won't be any issues where you have to call and again the phone may be busy or something else. Because the Abhishek may not be available all the time just to coordinate, because once batch is formed, he'll be working for other batch, but he will be available. But if you are expecting immediately will be responding your call, means he may be on the other calls calling to other people to form other batches or something else. So in that case, you don't need to worry about it. For sure, we'll be sending the link. And the best approach is, best process is, I request you all to email it. If anything urgent is, you can call me. If anything is there, you can email us. I'll be responding to the emails, and I'll be sharing my personal number also once you are finalized in this batch. Or else before getting into this batch, if you want to understand something, if you want to speak to me offline to understand, or if you have some concerns, definitely I'll be available. Here I'm going to share my direct contact number. You can call me on this. I'm just sharing. The number is 8106068686. Okay, this is my number. And again, one more note I'm giving here. Most of the times I'll be in the classes only. So when you call me, if I'm not answering, please don't mind. I request you, the best approach is, this is my direct number. You can call me directly. Otherwise, you can just ping me on this number, WhatsApp. If you ping me, for sure I'll be calling. If you are calling from overseas and all the time, I may not call back. It may not be possible for me since I'm in India. Okay, so that is the reason. If you can call me. Otherwise, just best approach is you can ping me in WhatsApp. Definitely WhatsApp messages always I'll be checking. So I'll respond. If any discussion required over the phone, we can connect and we can do in that way. Okay, my number is, once again I'm repeating, hope everybody received. But since it's a recording session, people cannot see whatever I just type in the GoToMeeting chat window. I'm repeating that. My direct number is 8106068686. Okay, fine, done.
Lakshman,
Yeah, please.
Lakshman, one more question. Yeah, is it fine if I try to call you after this session, or like is it fine?
We are.
Do you have any specific?
No. You can call me. We are going to wind up the session hardly within 5 to 10 minutes time. After the session, okay, you can call me. No issues.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So this is what we planned for today, and tomorrow there is one more concept which you have to understand in Fusion. What happens is, however we start the implementation in EBS in the same practice, we cannot follow. Or if you want to do the implementation, first you have to create the project in the system environment. Before that, you have to enable the offerings and options that we'll discuss detail level. That may takes not more than half an hour. After half an hour session, we'll jump into the system also. In tomorrow's session, we'll see how to create the user and few more points. We'll try to understand. That's how we'll run the session tomorrow. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me now. It's related to this course or today's session or previous session or upcoming session. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And one point, I'm very sure I'll be inviting many questions. But hope I'll trust people will be asking very valid questions. Okay, valid. You can ask me if something is not valid. We'll discuss and we'll be just ignoring that. But I request you to ask questions if you have some understanding is required or some clarification is required. But though if somebody is asking the questions, you don't need to worry about other participants. Please don't mind, because I want to give importance to everyone. Let's do it that way. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, myself Satish. I missed the earlier classes.
Okay.
Can you send a recording today so that I can be ready for tomorrow's session?
Sure. Yesterday's session and today's session, I am going to share with everyone. maybe from tomorrow session I cannot share with all the guys who are subscribed. For them I can share from tomorrow. The yesterday session, that is a demo, and today's session, these two I'll be sharing with everyone who are not subscribed or who are subscribed. To everyone I'll be sending. I'll do that. Any other questions?
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions, please? And the people, I mean, there is no further discussion about subject. Who wants to leave, they can leave. And the people who wants to discuss something, they can stay online and they can ask me. Okay, we can discuss. Further, I'm not going to discuss anything about this course. Only I'm here to take the questions. Any questions, please? Okay. Oh, Ronald is asking, please share that Excel sheet also. Yes, definitely. I'm open for that. I'll be sharing whatever you need, whatever we are trying in the classes. Not only this, when I'm running the classes and I'll be explaining that the steps, I'll be mentioning setup related, process related, the detailed explanation, whatever we are having in the sessions, I'll be sharing. No doubt. Anil, okay, you'll be calling. Okay, sure. You can call me, Anil. You can call me after some time. No problem. Any other questions?
Yeah, Lakshman, one more question.
Please.
So right now, like somebody asked like to share the spreadsheet, but like unless we view the video, we might not, like, it's pretty easy to miss the communication and flow of, because
no, I'm sorry. See, Maruti, the meaning, the guy, what he asked is, the sheet is asking for quick reference. The video they'll be playing and they go through it. And when they're not playing the video, see, the sheet, whatever I mentioned here, you can go through within 5 minutes max. You can understand everything, whatever I explained today. But to understand the same thing in the, I mean, it's a better understanding when you go through video. But the same thing, it takes 1 hour. For quick reference, people are asking this. The same I'm telling, they'll be sharing. Those two are separate. Sheet I'll be sharing, video I'll be sharing. Whatever you guys require, you can take it. I'm not stopping. Just okay, this is a for classroom. I cannot share. People will misuse or etc. etc. There are many things, but I don't worry about it. I'll be sharing because I believe that will be useful for you who are asking this. That's my intention. Is it okay to call you after the session, Ajay? Yes, you can call me, Ajay. Yeah, sure, Ronald. I'll be.
Hey, Lakshman, this is Satya.
Satya, please.
Lakshman, so in order to complete the entire course, right, this understanding,
yep.
Should we actually have to refer any guides which is provided by Oracle?
Not required. You will be understanding everything in our classes. After completing the classes, if you want to have some better understanding, you can refer something. The guide also I'll be sharing. One so very good document which got 1,000 pages, 1,000 plus, where you can see everything within that. More than whatever we are covering, means advanced collections and EV tax, very advanced. Many things you can find. I'll be sharing. And further also in future, it's not like just I am promising. If you need some other information also, which is possible from my end, I'll be open. Think, Max, I can help you out if you need some information on fusion. Yep.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Any other questions? Okay. Fine. Thanks. Yeah, fine, Anurag. Thank you. Fine. I don't see any questions. Okay. So thanks for joining this session. Hope you are happy with this session. Okay. Fine. Then see you tomorrow. Have a good day and good night. Thank you. And I'll be sharing this video maybe not more than 1 hour. Within 1 hour, I'll be sharing. For sure. Thank you. Thank you, Satya. Thank you.